What is up, boys and girls? It's Seb here with Modify UP. In today's episode, we're going to take our first proper look at Project Wonder and see what it is we're actually working with. This car is now 36 years old and there are some pretty questionable rust repairs on the car. So I want to strip it back and see what it is we're actually working with. So let's jump in and check it out. Stevie Wonder went to town on this car. I see rust in all the common spots and the patch repairs done previously are really poor. The wing has been sikaflexed on the body with absolutely no care. So, if you look here at the rear fenders, some keen eyes will see the bulk of the flare is at the rear of the arch. This is a dead giveaway that some front arches have been cut and welded onto the rear. And my god, is it a nightmare underneath that arch. You don't even want to see it, trust me. The whole paint job is so nasty. There isn't one window trim that I can reuse. Every single seal or trim has been painted on. So I basically can't use anything. The interior is 50% missing or damaged, and it looks like the only thing that hasn't been butchered is the dash surround. Even the poor steering column got hacked. The carpet was changed at some point, but the original clips were never stapled to the carpet, so it's all curled up and useless. Honestly, if there was a corner that could be cut in this car, not only has it been cut, it's been bent over and made its bitch. So some of you have messaged me asking to tell my story behind this car and my history with 86s. The first car I ever owned was an 86 way back when I was 14 years old, which was 2 years before I could legally drive. I was young and stupid and didn't give the car what it deserved. Sure, I did a 4AG conversion, but I also hacked up the bonnet for a DIY drop vent and filled the guards with body filler, followed up by a $50 rattle can respray. Thinking back now, I can only cringe at what I did, but that was my baby. I learned how to slide in that car, learned how to fix things, and some of my best ever car memories were made in that car. So when I saw this one pop up, I didn't think twice about it and got in touch with the owner. He was after a swap for something cool, and naturally, I had my S5 RX-7 that I'd totally lost interest in. Now for me, the 86 is my hero car, and to this day, was still the only car I really regretted selling. So there's a lot of sentimental value attached to this chassis. After FaceTiming with the owner a couple of times showing each other our cars, we agreed to meet up in Sydney. I drove up from Melbourne and he drove down from Queensland, and we met up in a dinky car park outside Officeworks. Now, my RX-7 was no showstopper, but to me the 86 was worth a lot more sentimentally, and my mind was set. I didn't really care what condition the car was in, because I knew that regardless of how it looked, I'd be doing a nut and bolt rotisserie build on this one. I got back home from Sydney and parked this guy up for about 6 months, where I haven't touched it since because I wanted to share this journey with everyone here. So let's go through what we know about the car. It's had a pretty sketchy SR20 conversion done with an S13 SR20 DE. We've got BC gold coilovers in the front with 35mm roll center adjusters, no front sway bar, locked S-series diff, RSR rear springs, no height adjustment, with some kind of adjustable rear shocks. Mechanically, on paper this sounds pretty good, right? Well, it would be if it was executed properly. The SR conversion was done using subframe spacers to clear the bonnet and trans-tunnel, which is common practice. I want to stay well away from that because spacing down the subframe dramatically affects the front roll center, which in turn exaggerates bump steer. This can be corrected to a certain extent with roll center adjusters, but we are wheel diameter limited here, where the size of the RCA needed would also require a 17 inch wheel to have enough clearance, which is just downright sacrilegious on an 86. Come on, 17 inch wheels on a Hutchie? Get out of here. So let's take a look underneath. There's no major rust in the floor or rails, and the rails look pretty straight, other than this big dent in the floor. So nothing really interesting going on here. The engine setup will be for sale shortly, so get at me if you're looking for an SR. Alright, so we're rocking a MCP rear coilovers with RSR springs, no height adjustment. The world's most agricultural adjustable sway bar, adjustable panhard rod. There's not much rust in the sill panels, but this rail is crushed. We need to fix that. Looks like the rails are pretty straight. Oh, that needs a bit of looking at. These rails are pretty good. There's no separation from the body. Yeah. Looks like we're not in too bad of a position to start rebuilding this. Let's pull it apart and see. Oh, we got BC golds, BC reds, the dirty SR. Alright, let's pull it down and check. Yo, check this out. I want to show you something else that I found. When one clamp isn't enough, make sure you put 4 on there. Gross. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you don't need a circlip on there. Just shove it in. Okay, so you can see how far they've come back here for the SR box. That's really unfortunate that somebody thought it would be okay just to bend this. What were you thinking? And this is terrible. It's not even welded on there. I can literally break it off with my fingers. At least it'll be easy to pull off. Now we want to look for rust in these areas here. I can see a little bit down there. Here's a better look at that rust. Right in that firewall. Right at the bottom of the footwell. So that's okay. I'm going to start by stripping off all the panels and strip everything out of the interior. I'm going to have to get someone in to remove the window glass, but for now, let's get to work. As I strip each part, I'm going to evaluate and see whether or not we can reuse it. This is going to help me later on down the track when it comes to reassembly, as I don't want to be waiting on anything before I start the job. is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed taking a first look at Project Wonder with me. There are going to be a lot of parts up for sale from this car, including the engine. So if you're after any of that stuff, make sure you hit me up in the comments down below or up on Instagram. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Your support means the world to me. So if you like what you see today, make sure you bump that like button and consider subscribing. In next week's video, we're going to be jumping back on the S13 Jean. Yes, I'm calling her Jean now because just like a phoenix, she's going to rise from the ashes. So make sure you stay tuned for some electrical hacks next week. Okay, bye!